Trump made life more difficult for his press office today. Yesterday, the White House insisted that Director Comey was fired for his behavior last year at the recommendation of Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein. But Trump gave a different account today in an interview to NBC News. Here's part of it.
But regardless of recommendation, I was going to fire Comey, knowing there was no good time to do it. And in fact, when I decided to just do it, I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. It's an excuse by the Democrats for having lost an election that they should have won. And the reason they should have won it is the Electoral College is almost impossible for a Republican to win. Very hard, because you start off at such a disadvantage. So everybody was thinking they should have won the election. This was an excuse for having lost an election.
Are you angry with Mr. Comey because of his Russia investigation?
I just want somebody that's competent. I am a big fan of the FBI. I love the FBI.
But were you a fan of him taking up that investigation?
I think that about the Hillary Clinton investigation?
No, about the Russia investigation and possible links between...
Look, let me tell you. As far as I'm concerned, I want that thing to be absolutely done properly.
That interview is making an awful lot of news tonight, and it will tomorrow as well. But does it change anything about the underlying facts of this case, such as they are? Mustafa Tameez is a Democratic strategist and a former consultant for the Department of Homeland Security, and he joins us tonight. Mustafa, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
So, among many other things, this is a reminder that there is an investigation in progress into the question of Russian interference in the last election, and it's being conducted by the most widely respected investigative organization in the world, the FBI. Absolutely. So given that, why in the world would you want a separate political investigation of this, as Democrats are calling for?
Well, look, I mean, the president said that in the same interview that you were showing, said that he actually had dinner with Comey, and in that he asked if he wants to stay. He was talking almost like a job interview, and then he asked, "Am I being investigated?" Just think about that. This investigation is about the Trump campaign, and were they colluding with Russia in this last election cycle? That's it. Whether you agree with the investigation or not, investigation is happening. Then the president of the United States, who Comey works for, during the president's got almost like a job interview, asked, "Am I being investigated?" That's just highly improper. And so there's a sense that an independent body needs to look at this, because the president is not disclosing his taxes. He is not coming forward.
Okay, hold on. Before you get into the disclosing his taxes and the rest of the talking points, let's stick to the core here.
Forget the talking points.
This is a story that will still matter a month from now. This investigation into the Russia connection. I think the whole thing is ludicrous, but it doesn't change the fact it exists. And it's obvious to me that Democrats would like to politicize it even further by creating a parallel investigation run by someone chosen by elected members of Congress. And my question to you remains, why is the FBI investigation inadequate? Is the FBI corrupted? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the president just fired the FBI director, sending a signal that this is the third firing he's had of people that were investigating him. So it becomes point that you go, the first person, Preet Bharara, was investigating him, he was fired. Then you've had a Justice Department official, the acting attorney general fired, and now you had the head of FBI fired.
Sally Yates was investigating President Trump?
Sally Yates was the acting head of the Justice Department.
I'm aware, but she wasn't involved in an investigation in Trump that I'm aware of.
She was look, the FBI director reports to Sally Yates. I mean, that's the governing structure.
So what are you saying?
Anybody can Google that.
This conspiracy is getting too complex for me to keep up with, though I do this every night. Are you saying that Trump fired Sally Yates in order to squelch the Russia investigation? I thought he fired Sally Yates because she contradicted his executive order on immigration.
No, she came specifically to talk about General Flynn. She came to the White House and said, we have to worry about General Flynn. His contact with the Russians is improper. He may be blackmailed. You've made him the national security advisor. Something has to be done. Soon after that, she was fired.
Different matter. So, but you're saying she was actually the one thing the rest of us didn't know was that she was actually fired at Putin's orders. I mean, I'm missing. Look,
no. Look, I think you should look at this very calmly. This is something we should look at. Well, so this is something to look at very calmly. This White House has, just this recent firing has multiple stories. So just because they say they fired her for not going on the travel ban and supporting the travel ban doesn't mean that's the reason why they fired. Every single day the White House comes out with one explanation and the president goes out and changes it.
But the bottom line is, are you saying that the FBI, the tens of thousands of people who work there, is corrupted as an institution by Donald Trump, who's been in office for 4 months, and in that time he's somehow corrupted the body of the FBI? That the people who work there are then why, if you're not saying that, then why would you take the investigation from them and hand it to somebody appointed by politicians? This doesn't make sense.
Look, there's multiple ways of doing this. You can have an independent prosecutor that's appointed by the Justice Department. That's been brought up. You can have an independent prosecutor or a body that's appointed by the Intelligence Committee or in the Senate. So there's multiple ways of doing this.
But who would that be?
The matter is,
I mean, who is trusted enough to do that?
Look, the fact of the matter is there is an issue here that needs to be investigated. The president seems like by his actions doing everything he can to intimidate the people, the very people that are investigating him. And so if we believe in a law and order presidency, then he should be accounted to the law as well as anybody else.
I guess here's the point,
person
Mustafa.
loses the confidence in government.
And part of the reason the average person is losing confidence is because the left has spun this ludicrous and incredibly complex conspiracy theory about, look, you're saying that the FBI is too corrupt to investigate this.
You can go down the list of the number of Republican leaders in the House and the Senate.
I don't care what Republican leaders in the House or Senate think.
Then
That's
what do you care about? You keep saying left, but I'm showing you that there are people on the Republicans that do it. Well, if you care about facts, then you want an independent investigation, and you want the facts to come out, and you don't want the president with the ability to fire people that are actually investigating.
You know what you guys are all doing? I've reached this conclusion after 4 months. This is totally fake. It's totally disingenuous. This whole it's good for the country to get an independent investigation.
Right? Like
That's not true.
Everything you disagree with becomes fake.
You can insult me if you want.
Everything you disagree with becomes fake. I'm not trying to insult you, Tucker.
Right.
I'm just trying to point out something to you. I would like you to listen.
Thanks, Mustafa. I appreciate it.